As always, this is not what I eat regularly. I have boring stuff that I eat to get my core nutrition, macros, and micros. You could think of the things that I'm going to show mostly as snacks rather than sit and eat sleeves of Oreos or whatever people do. A bag of Doritos or somebody typed Funyuns, they're gross. Whatever people eat, I prefer real food, generally speaking. Right, and this is random. This is not all in one day. This is just now and again. So, some people call this food flautas, which is Mexican or maybe Spanish for flute. Some people seem to call these taquillos. I don't know the translation of taquillos. If somebody knows, is that a word in Spanish or Mexican, taquillo? It's basically a soft taco shell that's rolled up very skinny with about a quarter-inch hole. And in this case, I got these from Costco, El Monterey. They jam in chicken and cheese and a little bit of, they're salty, of course, a little bit of various flavors. These are not hot. These are not like, if you're expecting to bite and get jalapeno or worse heat, you won't. These are fast car approved. Some may call them plain. Tastes like chicken and cheese. On the top is Costco sour cream. Usually I would not quite use that much, but that's what Chef threw on there, so I hate it, and I ate it, and I like sour cream. I've only actually had these things microwaved. I've never actually had them in an oven. When you microwave them, the softness of the taco shell or wrap, whatever you want to call it, it's still very tender and soft. I suppose if you were to oven cook these or air fry, they probably would get crispy. That might be interesting to have them crispy. It sure would make a mess because, as you see, they kind of come all over the place. The other side is worse. Uh, I don't want to really do many questions or any on these things, but as you asked, I'll do this one. These are not delicious. Like from 1 to 10, these are not a 9. Uh, do I feel better eating these instead of a bag of Doritos that's just completely useless carbs and MSG? Yes. Are these a nutritional powerhouse? No. They're probably 25% protein, maybe 30, and the rest is carbs. I'm just guessing without looking at the box. Um, would you take this over typical fast food? Oh, like a Wendy's, what do you call it? Like Dave's Double? No, I would take a Dave's Double over this. I would definitely take a Whopper with cheese. McDonald's, I haven't had in really a long time, like a many years since I've had anything from McDonald's. So I don't think they've changed. Uh, unless they have, I'm just not a huge fan of their burgers. Even like Wendy's and Burger King, I don't get that. Because, we have a restaurant, so. And from where I'm located right now at the labs, it's literally, you know, 2 minutes from here. And I sell a fast burger. I've shown pictures of it before. Maybe I will in this vid. It's a half a pound after cooked, which is about probably close to 3/4 of a pound before cooked, with a real bun, it's big. I mean, as far as volume, you'd probably have to get like a Oh, God. A triple or a quadruple Whopper to equal the amount of meat, or maybe like a Dave's triple or a Baconator or something. But it's real food. It's not just salt and chemicals. It's real beef, and we sell it for $7, so it's quite a deal. Anyway, so that's what this is. Taquillos or flautas. They were, I'm gonna loosely say, good. I wanted something. This was probably at a reset night during the game, and it was quick and a naughty little snack. Okay. This was a breakfast. This is not typical for me. This is probably not the best angle for this. This is a Thomas English muffin, which was toasted and buttered. Chef wanted to try the new one, so some of you have probably had an English muffin. They have original and whole wheat. I've actually never really shopped for them. But this one was buttermilk, and he wanted to try to see if they tasted different or better. So that's what this is. This is real deli cheese. This is not like what do people eat? Kraft in the plastic. And this one is a particularly good deli. There's 2 pieces of Spam here that have been desalted. Maybe I'll talk about that, maybe I won't. Um, and there's 2 fried eggs with like a soft yolk. This I will eat somewhat frequently. This was a surprise. He made some kind of, I don't know what I would call this. I don't really eat like pastries, but maybe turnover. I'm not sure what you would call this, but it was some kind of moist and flaky crust. There's little pieces or big chunks of like sugar on top, and inside was kind of like apple pie. And when he served it, this was warm. It's only this is not much. This is a small amount. He had a big tray and he cut little squares. Uh, it's not really my thing, but it was tasty. It was sweet and kind of appley. So it's not like, I like the sandwich way better. For those that don't know, that haven't seen the videos or not on my Discord, this is not a grapefruit. This is a something you haven't heard of yet that we developed here at the greenhouse. This is an orange that has been spliced. I'm really shortening this for those of you that aren't botanists. With a tomato. When you eat this, first of all, there's no seeds, there's no pits. You can peel this, and the meat, the flesh, comes right off of the orange. It's not sticky or hard. It just peels right off like a mandarin orange, those little ones, or what's those ones from Florida? The navel, is that the one? So you can peel these really easily, but there's no seeds ever, no pits. They're very low sugar, but very high sweetness. You wonder how that's possible? Well, it is. They're very low calorie. These have about double the vitamin C. This was built into the design when making these, when these were hybrided. These have about double the C, or a little more, than a typical navel orange. Double the potassium, and it has all the nutrients that are in a tomato. I jokingly call these orange tomatoes. Um, it tastes 95 or 99% like an orange. If you were blindfolded and you just popped a piece in your mouth, you would never think tomato. But it has the lycopene and all the other good stuff you get from tomatoes. But they're delicious. These are better than typical oranges. Also, it's about half the acid. So for some people that like oranges, but for whatever reason medically the acid maybe bothers their stomach, it doesn't me. These are about half the acid. Also, for diabetics, the glycemic index of these are lower than any other orange. This is really a neat product. I don't want to talk about it more than that for now. I've probably said too much already, but these are amazing. Everyone on multiple discords thinks that it's grapefruit. I assure you, it's not. If you tasted it, you would go crazy. If you like orange. And what was the question? How come I can't see the egg on this? It's just the way that the cheese is hanging and the angle. If I shot it like this direction, you would see the egg in here. It's just the way I shot it. Okay. This is a close up. This is going to be short. I'll zoom out. This is buttered, lightly sauteed, fried shrimp in corkscrew pasta. I don't remember the Italian name for it or the number, but these are kind of large corkscrews. And this is Alfredo sauce, which everyone knows is probably Fast Car's favorite sauce. And this came out good. We made extra and had some leftovers. I'll show you another shot. Here's pulled back a little bit. I had probably eaten a third of this already. This was for most average people, this was a large serving. There was probably 25 shrimp of a good size in that bowl. And it was delicious. I think I have two pics of this one. We decided at our place to start serving ribs, and this is the final version of them. You get there's a couple different sizes of racks, but anyway, these are slow cooked, pit style, like you would get. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Like you would get in Texas or something similar. These are baby back ribs in this case, fall off the bone. Like if I grab this bone, somebody typed tenderism. Yeah, except these are real. And just kind of shook it lightly, this would just fall off. These are unbelievably tender. I don't believe in dry rubs personally. I know there's people from parts of the country that like what I call overly seasoned food. Everything has handfuls of salt, pepper, paprika. Otherwise, they're bitchin'. Has no seasoning. I like the taste of food, the base food. To me, the spices or what sauces and stuff is usually an afterthought. I want to taste the meat. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, so there's very little sauce. You could see this is not drowning in sauce. Oh, there are 10. We tried several cooking methods with time and temperature to get it exactly where we want. So, actually, the most ribs I've eaten in my life were over about a 6 week or 2 month period where I had ribs fairly frequently. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll show you a different shot. Yeah, so a lot of people, if they had ribs, there would be just sauce all over this plate. You could see. No, it's not hot. It's barbecue, a little sweet, a little tangy, a little smoky. It's kind of mellow. But you could tell there's some sauce on it, but you really get the meaty flavor. And again, this is tender. You don't even need teeth to eat this. This is the exact corn that we use, so it's just buttered corn if you were to choose to have that. And this is a reasonable price. You get what we call the small rack, which is I'm going to make sure I say the right number. Approximately, depending on the rack, 10 or 11 ribs, I think, with a side. Maybe $16 or $15. You know, For 2026 prices, this is not. This is a rather good price. This is a little closer, so it's actually looks bigger than it really is. This was, I believe, Mandarin's oranges from Costco. They had them on sale. My back is itchy. These are supposedly seedless, although once in a while you do get a seed. Rarely. This batch was extremely sweet, extremely orangey. Um, I don't, I don't have oranges all the time. For some reason, this cold season, late fall, and we're in winter now. It's January, about to change a month. Uh, I just kind of been on an orange kick where I have either one large one or two or three smaller ones. But these were delicious. For being so sweet, oranges are surprisingly low calorie and low sugar and low glycemic load. Some more than others, but it's surprising, the orange. Even diabetics can eat these, and this is a wonderful treat. If they're fucking delicious. If you get ripe oranges, they're wonderful. This is basically chili. Go on with your question. Yeah, yeah. I need a drink of water. This is essentially chili. We had some leftover large corkscrew pasta. Someone's going to ask me the number. I don't know. And I don't remember the Italian name. No, it's not farfalle. Isn't that more like a bow tie? Whatever like corkscrews are. But that's what that was. It was leftover chili, leftover pasta, and on top is some cheddar cheese and sour cream. This was very yummy and hearty. This wasn't just like eating a couple of chips or something. This was like a serious meal, even though I had it probably right before reset. We here, none of us really like anything. My chef can go a little hotter than me. I don't enjoy spicy hot food, as in hot peppers, jalapeno, habanero, and ghost peppers. I don't even like Tabasco. I find it completely ruins the food, and all you taste is vinegar and bitterness. It just, whatever you're eating just tastes like hot sauce, which I think is dumb. People that use it a lot have no taste buds and no taste. In my opinion, they have ruined themselves. Anyway, that's what this is. This is from our place. This is at the very end because this was like a full bowlful. We call it sesame chicken. It's little real chunks of breast, and there's a light coating on it, which is fried. And then there's a sauce, which is basically like a somewhat sweet teriyaki. It's quite thick. And this is your standard pork fried rice. F you, Uncle Roger. Yeah, okay. This is two conventional green apples, if you will, Granny Smith. Uh, if you don't know this, I've talked about this many times, so I'm not going to at length again. Most fruit is not good for you, period. I'm not going to get into why, it just isn't. Apples and oranges are kind of the exception. Yeah, some people say tomatoes are. But as far as conventional fruit, mangoes and bananas and grapes and all these things, they're not good for you. Whoever tells you they are and they're loaded with nutrients, they're made in this day and age to be sweet and delicious so that you buy more of them. They're not made to be high nutrient or good for you. 100 years ago, fruit was different than today. It has been altered by people in labs. Apples, all of them are good for you, and you should eat them. The green version, Granny Smith specifically, has higher nutrients than the typical red delicious or Macintosh apple, and they're slightly lower glycemic index. Correct, and sugar, but still delicious. I fucking love them. I will say, make sure you wash your apples. Now, I don't mean putting it under your sink water and letting it run for a second, and rubbing it with your hand and going, it's washed. It's no, it isn't. If you're not a farmer, which I have some dealings with, even some organics, believe it or not, I'm not going to go into it. Very quickly, what? Uh, no, I got you. I prefer the taste of Granny Smith. I like that sweet, sour. I don't know what to tell you. I just like it. I do like regular apples. I just prefer Granny Smith, and they happen to be better for you. So it works out great. So, very quickly, when apples are growing, to prevent varmints, whether it's foxes, groundhogs, various rat and mice type things, and birds, hundreds of kinds of insects, they spray stuff on your fruit, your vegetables that are above ground. There could be as many as 18 various pesticides and, let's just say, bad for you chemicals. So you might say, but dude, when I put it under the water, it rinses off. No, it doesn't, because what good would be spraying millions of dollars of chemicals on all these fruits and vegetables, and when it rains, it's all gone? They are put on in a matrix of wax and or oil, which both shed off water, which means it will stay on the fruit and vegetable. And it will, this is not some hippie shit or anything like that. This will build up in you. Are you going to eat an apple or name your fruit and, in a week, are you going to get cancer and keel over? No. But over the years, it will add up, and it's poisons that are in you. So, don't buy expensive vegetable wash or anything like that. A lot of those are kind of bullshit. Just use regular dish soap. I happen to like Dawn Platinum for a couple of reasons, but whatever you might have at your sink, Ajax, I don't even know all the brands. I like the one from Dawn that also has alcohol in it, which kills some stuff. But this is a very strong degreaser and anti-wax. Now here's all you have to do is a test. Take your apple that you buy from the store, whatever store it is, and rub it under water, like you conventionally, what you call wash, and then rub it with your hand, and it'll be very slippery. It feels like a car you just waxed. Now, put a little drop of, your dish soap, detergent, whatever brand it is you use, soap it up like you're washing your hands, and then go around the whole apple. Just wash the apple with the soap and then rinse it. Now you're going to feel a difference. The apple, when you rub your hand on it, will now be squeaky because the wax coating and or oils are now off of it. If you were to do this with a whole batch of apples, a bag in a sink with a stopper, you will see a color change to a brownish or gray color as all of these chemicals and waxes and oils come off. Yes, absolutely do your tomatoes. Things that have a skin that you most likely won't eat, for example, an orange, something you peel, there still could be chemicals inside because the goes through the root system and taken into the flesh by the fruit. But anything where you might eat the skin, and most people eat the skin of apples unless you peel them, You definitely want to wash them with dish soap. Okay. These are Costco cookies. This is not something Fast Car typically eats as an adult. When I was a young kid, I would eat, you know, I don't know, a dozen or 20 of these things. Costco has these all the time. This is a chocolate chunk, soft. They're fucking delicious. This is an oatmeal raisin that is, yeah, I can, which is fucking delicious. And this is a white chocolate macadamian. We've also homemade or done a homemade version of all three of these. But in this case, I can tell this is the Costco version. They're delicious. Normally, I wouldn't even eat three, quite honestly. But when we got the first batch, I was like, fuck it. It was probably reset nights, and I was like, I want one of each to try them. Typically, I would have one. We would buy them from Costco and go in a freezer to keep them nice. And you would be shocked, completely frozen, and our freezer really deep freezes. It's insanely cold. You could take them out, and in a couple minutes, they defrost and are edible. I suppose you could always put it on a plate or a napkin or whatever, microwave it for just a couple seconds. But you would be surprised from completely frozen, just a couple minutes out on the counter, and they're edible and delicious. So typically I would have one a day. And you know, they're fucking good. Which one is your favorite? Oh, that's tough. I like them all for different reasons. I suppose the least bad for you is the oatmeal raisin, if you care about that. They're all good in their own way. I can't say I have a favorite. I kind of, from 1 to 10, I rate all these an 8, maybe. And all three are an 8 for their own reason. So this is oddly focused. I was fucking with the focus. It doesn't matter. But this is the sesame chicken that also has broccoli. You can get it with broccoli. Pork fried rice. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of our new shrimp rolls. So this was delicious. This is probably 1/3 of what you get. Is that right? Yeah, this is probably a third. You get a really big portion from our place for this lunch special, which is basically $10. Yeah. So earlier in the vid, I don't know when this is going to come out. It could be months from now. We had some leftovers of this chili over pasta. So this is a little container. We have a lot of little, rather than get TV dinners or something, Chef James always makes extra of everything. And sometimes things go in the fridge, and other times they'll get put in a little Tupperware like this and frozen. And if he can't cook, or if he's busy, or I want a snack, I can go in and there's a variety of soups and things like this in this case. I had wound up with freshly made from a little old Italian woman mozzarella cheese that was in multiple herbs and stored in olive oil. These are probably about 2/3 the size of a golf ball. And we had a bunch and didn't want them to go bad because they were fresh. I suppose maybe you could have froze them. So some were eaten by themselves as a snack. Some were alongside other foods that maybe you wouldn't necessarily pair flavored mozzarella with. But in this case, he was just like, hey, you want me to chuck a couple of those mozzarella balls? So they got warmed up with the chili, and it doesn't look gooey here, but these are ultra soft, melt in your mouth. This is not like polio string cheese. for, for those of you that have only had store bought, mass produced, this is not what this tastes like. This is high end, ultra silky, smooth. Somebody said high cheese pulp. Yeah, if it's fucking hot. I don't know if you can't tell here, but if I was to grab this side with one hand and this, my fingers, and this side with the other and pull this would go 3 feet. Yeah, it's very soft. This was good. I actually remember this, and this was a while ago at this point. This is corned beef hash, and this is scrambled eggs with onions. Normally, we would mix this. We have hash once in a while, not super often, but when we do, normally it's all just mixed and kind of fried together. This particular time, I don't know why, chef separated them, but this is good if you like it. This is something we mostly only have in the winter. I usually don't have sugary drinks. Like I haven't had I don't know, a Pepsi or a Coke or a Mountain Dew, which I used to be in love with, which is another story. I haven't had that shit in years. Uh, but when it started getting cold, we had our first like 0 degree day. Maybe there was a little snow. This is actually special cocoa that has medicinal properties. I'm not going to talk about this too much, but this is dark chocolate, if I'm not mistaken. Right, some people say chocolate. I think this is 63% dark. Uh, this is not just a powder. I don't know the name of it. What's the one with the rabbit? Remember that when you were a kid? Quick. No, it's not quick. It might have quick and Nesquik. Yeah, or Swiss Miss. It's not one of those envelope powders. This is actual chocolate that is melted um, into milk or water and stirred vigorously. There's a thickness to this. I wouldn't quite say mud, but this is not watery or like coffee, caffeine, depending how you say it. Lightly, go on. Yeah, it's like 6 in the morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lightly sweetened. Um, very short. I don't want to get into it again. I've spoken about this before. Dark chocolate is very different from milk chocolate, regardless of what country you're from and you like this chocolate better or that one. There is medical stuff that is very powerful for humans in dark chocolate. Once you break about 60%, magic happens. Now, at some point, it gets insanely bitter. Although I know that one brand has a 72% that's not bitter. I don't know how they did it. Obviously, there's a lot of sugar in it. But the magic number seems to be about 60. This happens to be 63. But there's a lot of very positive, from healing to brain effects to a whole lot of stuff from dark chocolate. It's a wonderful substance, and it's delicious. Mostly, I drink it for the health benefits. The side effect is that it's chocolate and kind of sweet, so it's like a treat also. Yes, so always use dark chocolate, even if it's just 60%. There's magic. Okay. Oh, I know what this is. If you've seen my other food videos over the years, my mouth is watering right now. This is, and I have literally had this as a pro drag racer and in the military and traveling. I've been to every state. I don't even know how many countries. But this is chicken marsala. I've had it many, many times. This is the absolute best version of it I've ever had. And if you've seen my other videos, you heard me saying the exact same words. This is made perfectly. The ratios, the amount and quality of the Marsala wine, the thickness, the mushrooms, the chickens are tenderized. Their chef calls it Hulk smashed with that little, not a needler, the little hammer thing. Very tender. You could just use a fork. You don't need a knife to cut the chicken. This sauce, ooh, it might rival my favorite Alfredo when it's made right, which is a whole nother rant I'm not going to get into. 99% of Alfredo is not Alfredo. 99% of Alfredo is made cheap and easy with garbage ingredients. For those of you that say, dude, it's just a little Parmesan cheese and butter, maybe a splash of cream. No, there are some people that think that's Alfredo. Until you've had real, I know this is not an Alfredo pick, until you have real Alfredo, you just don't know. But there's a lot more to it. Quite a few more ingredients. It's an infusion and it's an art form making proper Alfredo. Anyway, this is the finest example of Marsala. This is so good. I literally could eat this every day for a meal or probably two and never get tired of it ever. It's just that good. Oh man, I want it right now. This is the fast burger I told you about. This is just the patty, so you can't see too much. There's no bun. This one is served, we serve on a plate like a chop steak. This has onions on it that are obviously fried. This is a baked potato with a washed skin, and it has been buttered with Kerrygold. At the last second, we threw some cheddar cheese slices on it for me and sour cream, just from the heat that was left over from the cooking process. Shortly after, I had this 2 months ago, but I remember shortly after the picture was taken, this cheese just went into a goo and spread all over. So I wasn't like eating chunks of cheddar, which would have been fine with me. So that's what this is a very high quality beef. We have some connections to a huge cow farm, which drives my friend crazy, ranch that has thousands and thousands of acres in Texas, and we get some of their meats that's spectacular. This is very high level, high nutrition meat. This is not the shit you get in your Kroger and Publix and wherever the fuck you shop. This is a much bigger picture, but I'm not going to resize. And when you look at the other half, this is a piece of flounder fish, which was just conventionally fried, and it's on a roll with tartar sauce. And there's a tomato. This particular, you can't see the rest of the picture. On the other half, it was cut in half. This piece of fish was oddly shaped. This one didn't cover the bun. Normally, that really annoys me as a customer. Like, I'm paying for fish, not for a bun sandwich. But the other side actually hung off. It was just a weird piece of fish, but normally it's covered edge to edge. This is actually why I took this one from the store. But this is we called fish lunch, but this was delicious. This is probably when I mentioned we had this chili over pasta, and we had a huge, gallons of it. So there was many little Tupperwares. I ate it when it was fresh. When he first made it, there was several in the refrigerator that didn't get frozen. So I probably had it once a day for several days. This one has a nice cheddar on it. Of course, it's delicious. Here it is again, and here is those little mozzarella. Yeah, I can zoom in. Oh, that happened. Oh, here you go. This was a big bowl. This is due to the angle, you can't see, but this was pounds. I actually remember this serving. This was a lot of food. Uh, I did not expect this many. Chef Jim said, "Hey, you want me to throw in on top a couple of those herbed mozzarella medallions and balls?" And I was like, "Yeah," expecting two, maybe five or three, and he put this many in. There was even a couple underneath, but I didn't mind. They're unbelievably delicious. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not mad. So this is from our place. When you get a fast burger, you can get with it cheesy fries. The ketchup I put on myself. So this is our cheesy fries, which is a real cheese. This is not like Velveeta or something. And the fries are delicious. I'm getting very hungry. That went out of frame. This is the fast burger taken from a weird angle, so it looks no bigger than a McDonald's single. But this is actually over a half a pound of meat. This is a big burger. A lot of normal sized women can't finish this, even some men, or they don't want to, not because it's not delicious. It's just a big fucking hunk of meat. It's probably averages about 9 ounces after cook of meat. So this is a big boy. Giant tomatoes, couple slices of cheese. You can get it with or without. Um, yeah, with or without cheese or onions or tomato. There is mayo on it, and of course there's ketchup if should you want that. This is the best thing on the menu. This is maybe when we started putting broccoli with the sesame chicken, and that's with a probably a shrimp roll. Yeah, I never used to eat this much. I'll lightly call it Chinese food. But during the testing and the tweaking of the recipe, you gotta eat it. So that was a snack. That's probably a half serving. This is a large picture. I'm not going to change the picture size, but it stretches out about double the size of this. This is a uh, sausage, egg, and cheese croissant, buttery croissant, breakfast type thing. It was delicious. I don't know why there's two pictures of it, and do they look the same? Because I took a pause, so I don't remember what the last one looked like. This is a much bigger picture, but this shows the point. This is pierogi and onions, and the pierogi is filled with fresh potatoes and what's called baker's cheese. And there's a little bit of olive oil, butter, and sour cream. And these are extremely tender, fork tender. These you could just press with your pointer finger and it would cut them in half. Very soft, pillowy, like a really good gnocchi, for those of you that know what that Italian food is. And I don't mean the store ones you buy that are hard and rubbery. I mean from a real Italian restaurant. These are delicious. Typically, I won't eat an all carb meal. Um, but this does have cheese in it and a little bit of egg in this case, believe it or not. And I don't exactly remember eating these, but probably had something with it. Most likely a beef course or some chicken, something like that. This is, if I've spoken about it already, and again, the world's greatest chicken marsala. In this case, we had a little bit of extra marsala gravy sauce. So he made up some. This is probably angel hair, even though it looks like spaghetti. Don't ask me the numbers, I don't remember. But the combination um, is just wonderful. That I remember he cut up the chicken so you could stab the fork in and get some of the pasta, a mushroom, Yeah, a piece of chicken. There's the whole bottom of this is chicken. We're very high protein on everything generally that we eat and make. There's probably like, yeah, like there was probably two breasts as big as this bowl cut in pieces, and most of it's on the bottom. I started up after this, but this is what it looks like here. Just a 10. I'm kind of drooling. This is again tweaking the sesame chicken recipe. How sweet, how smoky, how teriyaki-ish. Don't they have a word umagi for some taste? Yeah, just screwing with the recipe, so I had to eat it a bunch. Yeah, this was a new version. It goes by several names. Surimi fake seafood. Sometimes they have lobster, sometimes they had crab. We were seeing if any of them come close to the real thing. What I mean by that is there's some brands of this in your typical store that, I don't know, it vaguely tastes like soft, mushy fish or lobster or crab, vaguely. They usually take fish and whatever other wizardry, and then they will put the juice of lobster or crab to kind of fool you. Yeah, sometimes it's called imitation. Some of them are better than others, and this particular one was really good. Sometimes we will eat it cold. In this case, it was gently warmed in a pan with butter and then dipped in a horseradish. What do people call the red sauce? This isn't ketchup. Yeah, exactly. Some of them are just kind of sweet. This one, I like it where you can really taste the horseradish. But this one, this exact version is, if you were blindfolded and popped it in your mouth, it would probably fool 7 out of 10 people. That's how good this one was. It was delicious. I like it plain. I like it in stuff or on top of stuff. This is a really rare treat. Costco had, they don't just call them Fritos, scoops. I guess they're meant for scooping like a nacho, maybe chili, or I don't know, what do people eat? Yeah, guacamole or salsa. Um, I hadn't had them in a long, long time, and they were on sale like half price for a big ass bag at Costco. They're even good plain, especially, I don't live on this stuff. When I was a kid, I ate this. But as an adult, I might have this once in a year, so it's kind of, I don't eat chips or pretzels or Doritos. So this is kind of a treat. And this is Costco sour cream. They're okay plain, and I just kind of dipped it in a little sour cream, and it was good. In fact, it was, for my whatever tastes, really good. I had to control myself to not buy 8 bags and eat all of it in a week with 15 pounds of sour cream. It's fucking delicious. This is another one of our high quality beef meals, chop steak on a plate. This is not just average burger meat. In this case, I didn't have onions, so I put some ranch on it. And this is a washed baked potato with butter and sour cream. I don't believe there's cheese on this one. And this is an organic vegetable mix that we have here. Carrots, string beans. I think there's actually a couple of black beans in there, corn, something else, but I like the taste of it. There's a little butter in there. This is really good. This was more ribs from when I was testing ribs. This was slightly more sauced. Delicious, baby back, fall off the bone ribs. There's enough said. This is those pillowy, soft cheese and potato pierogies with the olive oil butter mix. There's onions in there. sour cream, and this is a kibasi type sausage. I'm not sure what this is called. Some kibasi, some various sausages, when you bite them, there is this outer membrane has a snap to it, or I don't want to say crunch, a snap. It's not just soft like you're eating mush. There's like a pop when you bite into it. We don't like that here. So anytime we have something like this, chef braises them so this is all soft. You could just take your finger and rub this and it would come off. These are not salty and super fatty. This is really high quality meat in this kielbasa. And this is like a deli mustard that's chunky. I don't think, no, I'm not going to bother changing the camera. But this is not like Golden's yellow, bright yellow. This is like a stone ground. There's stuff in there. Yeah, more like a New York City deli mustard, very thick. But I just, yeah, this was like a German meal. We haven't had this in a while, and I miss it. I think I showed these previously. I'm not doing these in a row. This is over days or weeks. So this is a sausage, egg, and cheese buttery croissant. Delicious. I don't have these often, but and I especially don't eat really bread or croissants usually, but it was really good. This is more from that batch of scoops. Like I said, I had bought a big bag from Costco. It was, probably a pound or a pound and a half of these things, which is a lot. Like twice the size of a big bag you would get from your typical store. Again, I dunked them in sour cream. This is probably on reset night for Guild Wars 2. This is probably 10 or 15 minutes before reset, so I was just popping these in. And again, normally I don't have an all-carb meal. It's just not how I get down. So this is super rare for me to eat junk and just carbs. This picture is bigger, but you can't see that other half. You'll have to take my word for it. This is those pierogies again. There's what looks like butter is actually translucent onions, a lot of them, but there is a little butter and olive oil. Again, these are fresh potato and baker's cheese, sour cream, and there's some kind of beef steak over on the side. Here is another one of our high-level steak burger things on a plate. Ranch dressing, potato with butter, and sour cream. The potato has very high nutrients, specifically potassium, which every one of you is deficient in. That's a fact. I could give you a nutrition lesson, but there's also some magic that happens with the potatoes, especially if you cook them, put them in the refrigerator, and then have them at another time. Magic happens chemically, and you're eating it tastes the same, but you're eating something extremely good for you. When you cook a potato, refrigerate it, and then reheat it or eat it cold, like, for example, a potato salad. Magic happens with the potatoes. This is a slice of pizza from our place. This is sausage, mushroom. There's probably, does this have onions? High cheese. And I can tell you that guy that's famous on YouTube, that one bite challenge, what's his name? Mark Portnoy? I actually know somebody with that same name. Is that it? Anyway, no flop. Look at the undercarriage. That motherfucker likes burnt, dry pizza with no stuff on it. I don't know. I think he has terrible taste. I actually had two of the pizzas he ranked rather high, and I didn't enjoy them, personally. But this is fucking delicious. If you like real cheese and real sausage that tastes like meat, there's not hard little coriander seeds and shit. This is real fresh ground sausage. This is high-level pizza. Delicious. I think there's another shot. Yeah, here's when there was more on the plate. Typically, I will eat 2 slices. I could eat 3. I could eat 5. I can eat a whole pie, but I know I don't need to. This is usually not a meal for me. This is a treat or a snack because there's real stuff on this. This is high quality cheese and sausage and mushrooms and all of that. Special dough that's high protein. Even the sauce is very special. But again, rather than eat a sleeve of whatever I said one other time, Oreos or a bag, somebody wrote Funyuns, a bag of Doritos or something, I always prefer real food. Kind of when I eat 98% of the time, I ask, what is this doing for me? When you eat a bag of Doritos, nothing. You're eating salt, 100 chemicals, and all useless carbs that just turn, yeah, I'm scratching my back, that turn into sugar. At least there's protein and actual nutrients in this. Here's yet another picture, just a different angle. Somebody at the time must have asked. No, it normally goes all the way up, but this, during transport, slid when it was super hot and gooey. Yeah, but it goes all the way up. To your average person that doesn't know anything about nutrition, some people might find this gross or weird. I did a thing about the fast car food pyramid before Trump's health czar came out and gave us the new pyramid. Sardines, some more than others, are on my list of superfoods, and unless you have a medical reason, you should be eating these all the time. I'm not going to go into why again, I have previously, but you should be eating these. The serving for most people is probably 2 cans, which, depending on the brand you get, is about 40 to 55 grams of protein and all kinds of wonderful stuff. You can get this brand, Chicken of the Sea, from Walmart for $1 a can. The amount of nutrients that is in a can of this for $1, I don't think anything is a better bang for the buck nutritionally. Maybe eggs, depending what they cost. These are organic blueberries, which are a superfood. I told you probably at some point, fruit, most of it is not good for you. The exception is berries, and specifically blueberries. Raspberries, blackberries, and other similar berries that have those little bumpies on them cause some people issues. I don't think they taste as good either. Blueberries are magic. They are on the fast car. Yeah, I'm still scratching my back. They're in the fast car superfood list. Now, you're going to have to take my word for this. My whole life, since I was a little kid, I've had blueberries. My mother would bake pies. We would have them, raw, and just pop them in your mouth. And they're not amazing, quite honestly. However, Costco, specifically the Kirkland Organic, it's about $9 for a giant bag. I don't know what scientists fuck with these, but they are a cross between blueberries and candy. They have I sent them out to the labs to get tested. It has all the important stuff. These are the best blueberries on earth. And you might say, dude, I've had frozen. I've had them from Whole Foods and here and there. They're not the same thing. They look similar. These are fucking delicious. To me, some blueberries were even kind of sour or tart. These are like half candy and half blueberry is my best description. These are fucking delicious. If you've never had Kirkland brand organic blueberries, try them, and these are fucking phenomenal, and they're amazing for you. This is a nutritionally complete, super powerful meal. This is a close-up of a salad. I'll show you the zoomed out slightly picture. There's egg in here, and there's Kobe beef and a whole host of various greenery and vegetables. 5 cheese blend. That was delicious and very large. When we have salads here for a meal, I get a bowl. Oh, it's probably like, no, it's bigger. I was going to say if you took a basketball and cut it in half, but it's bigger than that. It's like a basketball and a half. It holds gallons of water. That's how big my bowl is. I will eat sometimes a 2 to 3.5 pound salad. This is a more pulled away version. Now, this hasn't been stirred yet, but there's multiple greeneries in here, olives, 5 cheese blend, there's hard boiled egg, there's fast tomatoes, garbanzo beans. It may also have frijoles negros, black beans. Under here, this isn't stirred. There could be yeah, I didn't mix it up. There could be there's definitely cucumbers, artichoke hearts, celery, some carrot. Yeah, so you get all the goodness of all the vegetables, and then of course, I'm a protein guy, so there's some of this great chopped meat we have on top of it, which goes quite well. This is very nutritionally complete, delicious. This is your classic store-bought ranch. It's kind of a green and white bottle that I don't have a name for you. They sell it at Costco, a 2-pack. It could be Hidden Valley. I just like it, but that's what this is. This is blueberries again, the same ones. These, oh God, right now I would eat a dump truck full of them. Listen, someone said, dude, I've had every blueberry. They're all the same. They are not. It's the Kirkland brand organic. Now, your Costco might sell other brands. I can't vouch for those. They probably taste like every other blueberry, but the Kirkland organic, dude, I'm telling you, you don't need to put sugar on them. It's like half candy and half blueberry. They're better. To me, it's better than most treats. They're so fucking good. And there is superfood. Nutritionally, these blueberries are unbelievable. You should eat them often. This was our take. I was talking to someone on Guild Wars. That's not American. It's a very nice girl, a streamer. Her name is like Lipsidity or something. She has an English accent. A very nice girl, who always calls me darling. We were talking briefly about, very quick, what's your question? Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, we were talking about fish and chips and how it's so big in the UK. In fact, kind of in the whole EU. Fish and chips is a huge thing, almost like hamburgers in America. Like everywhere, oh, these wackos overseas have pubs. I don't know what it's basically. These motherfuckers are drunk. Don't get me started on Europe and all of this. The EU. These motherfuckers are all drunks. There is what we would call a bar. They call them pubs everywhere, but they serve food and they watch loser shit like what we superior Americans call soccer, that they call football. Um, Somebody wrote Manchester United #1 and Scousers don't get knocked out. Oh, that's an MMA reference. Shout out. Anyway, this was our take at beer battered fish. In this case, it was cod. There was some more over here, which I ate already. We didn't have tartar sauce. And someone mentioned, in Europe, and I know this from spending time over there, especially in Holland, the Netherlands, and some other places where white people are, they will put mayo on a lot of things, even on French fries or chips, as they're incorrectly called. So I just put some Hellman's, a little bit of mayo, and it was fucking delicious. But this was the take at fish and chips. There was some chips, or it could have been like tater tots, but there was some blueberries instead of a vegetable, and it was good. It was really good. This is eggs and corned beef hash. Probably talked about this fried together, and this is I guess it depends on the part of the country you're from in America. It's home fries, maybe, or is that what do you guys call them? Like potatoes for breakfast? You might get at a Denny's or a Waffle House or something, or a diner if you're from Jersey. Yeah, home style, like chunks of potato that is seasoned with whatever. But that's what that is. It was good. This is another salad. These come full with a meniscus. Look that word up. But this had the typical. I think this one is baby spinach because conventional lettuce has no nutrition. Iceberg lettuce. There's obviously hard-boiled eggs. This is this might be thick cut, uncured, desalted bacon. In fact, I know it was. There's two types of beans, and under here, I hadn't stirred it up at this point. There's cucumbers and other various vegetation under there. This is lobster bisque soup that we were testing out. We now sell. Under here, there's seafood. You can't see it at this point, but there was a good amount. Lobster bisque made correctly. There's shitty versions you can get in the store that have no flavor. But when you have a real version of it, it's high level delicious. This was fucking good. This is another sardine and blueberry. Um, and just for a goof, I normally eat the sardines plain. I put some mayo on it. You know, people make tuna fish with mayo. And it was good. I just kind of smeared it around and ate this in chunks. Costco blueberries. This is homemade Jewish style matzo ball soup with ultra tender pieces of chicken, matzo ball, and just for a goof, he put in rice this time, which we don't normally do. You can't tell from the picture, but the starch from the rice and whatever the fuck rice does, it gave this a different experience. Not just watery, almost a creaminess to it. And this is bone broth. The chicken was extremely tender, almost the way like fall off the bone ribs taste. This was not just like chicken chunks. This was very tender. Um, Go on. Yeah, yeah, like classic matzo balls. It just depends. Some places they're golf ball sized. Some places in New York, and this one crazy restaurant in New York, that New Jersey, none of you will know, they are softball size matzo balls. Matzo. Typically, we eat this when it's cold out, like fall and winter. Not to say we wouldn't have it in the summer. I actually remember this at the start of getting cold, and this is oh so comforting and delicious. This broth, I'm kind of drooling. This looks to some of you that have never had this, it looks simple, but this was delicious. I know someone named Fast Cat who wouldn't eat the chicken, I don't think, but she would love the rest of the soup. This is again one of our burger steaks on a plate with yeah, the homemade pierogi with the cheese and potatoes, sour cream. There's onion in there. Delicious. This would be like your classic, I'm going to loosely say spaghetti and meatballs, a classic red sauce with actual flavor. There's vegetables and herbs, oregano and basil and all that in there. Slow cooked for hours. Normally, I don't eat with so much sauce. This just happened to be extra, so he dumped it on and I licked it. Like I say, we're more protein centric here. So some of you might go, there's so much meat. I had eaten some of the pasta already, but yes, there's a lot of meat in our pasta courses. This is making me very hungry, and I haven't eaten quite yet. This is a different type of chicken and pork fried rice, and this is a little piece of a shrimp roll. I forget which one this is. This is a New York, New Jersey, probably Philly, Connecticut thing. Pork roll, egg and cheese sandwich. They made a mistake, that or they hooked us up. This is like double or triple thick pork roll, and there's actually 4 layers. You can't see the fourth one in this picture. It was, and I'm a meat person, it was too much pork roll for just 2 eggs. It was heavy. She charged us normal price. We got this at like this deli next to our place, just trying out what they had. But it was good. I've probably spoken about this already. This is very high nutrient, medicinal, hot chocolate, dark. This is big shrimp that Chef perfectly cooked, scrambled with eggs. There's a slight amount, I always mix them up. It's either hollandaise or béarnaise sauce, which you've never had, is to fucking die for. There's a small amount in here. This is a potato with butter and sour cream. This is a sandwich that we have, like our deli stuff. This is roast beef, you could see piled high. I'm pretty sure that was provolone cheese. And this is a locally made, really good rye bread. I don't often personally eat stuff like this. I would eat it on a plate without the bread. But I just wanted to try the whole experience. It's probably buttered and or mayoed. I don't remember. But it's very high quality meat. It's cooked for many hours. It was delicious. Yeah, here's the other half of that. Or another piece, I don't remember. We have these now for breakfast. I remember as a kid eating McDonald's hash browns and fucking loving them. Maybe they're not as good as I remember, but I remember as a kid, like, man, these things are good. So this is our take on them. These are less bad with less chemicals. Just for a goof, because people eat French fries all over the world with mayo, I put a little dollop of mayo just to try it with hash browns, and it's actually really good. I do like them plain, without a doubt, even sometimes on a sandwich. But they were good, dunked in mayo. Really good. This was a pre-reset, or probably reset on Guild Wars. This was 2 cans of sardines with mayo, no carbs. This was late October, or maybe November, from Costco, and they were changing their stock. And this big ass bag, which is a shitload of peanut butter cups, was on sale for like $7 or $6 for many pounds. In the store, this would be 30 or 40 bucks. And I got them just because I used to eat them all the time as a kid, and I'm looking at the same bag that's 3/4 full. In my head, I was going to have cheat meals and eat peanut butter cups all the time, and I don't know, it just kind of didn't happen. They're still over there. In fact, it's now near the end of January, or the end. I don't even know if they're still good, which reminds me, maybe I should get rid of those. But peanut butter cups. These are less bad as far as candy goes because it has at least some protein in it. This is. I don't remember this one. This is clearly a potato with sour cream and butter. This is a special chicken breast we got from the cow ranch. And he had some special organic, no pesticide, no antibiotic chickens, and he sent us some breasts to try with some authentic Texas barbecue sauce, and it was really good. Ooh, chef is cooking my breakfast as we speak. This is again one of the chopsteaks, onions, potatoes. I spoke about this earlier. This is something we have, this beef and noodle mix for like a quick homemade TV dinner. This was some blueberries. I ate something with this. Very rarely would I eat just blueberries. I could, but most likely I ate something with this. Someone, I'll call Fast Cat, I took that picture and showed her. She said, "Is that a stock photo?" Because I say that to her all the time. She never shows her actual food. She shows pictures off net and try to say it's hers. And I said, "I'll hold the goddamn things up next to Discord with me talking to you." So that's what this picture is for, proving it's really me. This is a big picture, and this is a little piece of our take on macaroni and cheese. It was fucking delicious. Somebody wanted to see the cup that I drink out of normally. That's 1.5, almost 2 liters. So I just showed it next to my screen here. This is a big cup. Very big. This is again that chili beef noodle mix with a baked potato with sour cream and butter. It looks like he sprinkled a little Parmesan Reggiano, or it could be, what's the one I like even better? The name is escaping me. Pecorino Romano. Oh God, this was. I don't really eat rolls or bread. I did in this case because he gave it to me. This is chicken Alfredo. That was pretty good. And this is fresh bread with Kerrygold butter, which I kind of waited till I was done eating the pasta course with the chicken. And then the leftover Alfredo, I scooped that on the buttery bread, and that was delicious. I don't know why there's another picture of it, but here you go. This is a mixture of dark chocolate chips that are low sugar, 64% dark, and this is essentially a copy of Reese's peanut butter, but in chips, but lower sugar, but still delicious. And there's something that may show up at stores, so I'm not going to talk about this. This is some of the beef and noodles. I think this is potato butter sour cream. This is from a Wendy's, there's actually one from where I'm located right now, literally, I don't know, 30 seconds away. It's hard to believe that it's where it is if you knew where I am. They had fucked up on some advertising. I don't remember what the story was, but they had a big sign, billboard at the restaurant where they advertised their various deals for the month or whatever. And it basically said, we screwed up or something. So for 30 days, we're going to have a quadruple burger for, I think it was $2.99. So this was a steal. And, in the scope of things, I like real burgers better. Wendy's is better than other companies, I think. And this was a good deal for $2.99 for a quad burger. Delicious. Scrambled eggs with the pierogies. It was delicious. This is some strawberries that were really good, super good. Uh, to me, not as good as the blueberries. These are good for you compared to classical fruits. Nutritionally, though, blueberries have these hands down. I just wanted to change. I hadn't had them in a while. So there's some nice strawberries. Shrimp and eggs, delicious. This was chicken wings and pork fried rice from our place. There was 8 of them. I don't know what's left there. I'm not counting. There was a lot more rice than this too, but I had eaten a bunch. This was 2 cans of sardines, clearly. This is some kind of salad, cheese. I think there's some chicken in there. This wasn't stirred up, so there's other stuff on the bottom. Yeah, our pizzas are very heavy. You get what you pay for. It's quite a deal. When you get toppings, you know you got toppings. Strawberries again, I had probably eaten 2/3 of them already. This is out of focus when I was fucking with the. Don't ask. With the camera. This is shrimp fried rice and sardines to see how that combo goes together. This is a much bigger picture. There's just a slice, but this is a close up of shrimp fried rice. This is the pierogies we have. We haven't had them in it. Seems like I have them a lot, but I really don't. This is over months. But this is those pierogies. A little butter, a little olive oil. There's pulled chicken, sour cream. The chicken is underneath. There's a big, probably full cup or cup and a half of pulled chicken underneath there. Very meaty. I don't remember exactly. This might have been a chicken parmesan with extra. No, because there's sour cream. I don't remember. Maybe it was just chicken and tomatoes with cheese. I really don't remember what this. I remember it being good. I don't remember what it was. This was a couple of burgers, and I don't know what that is. It's too dark to be a potato. But there's sour cream. I really don't remember what that was. This is just mixed. This was conventional blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and typically they were very seedy, not super sweet, nowhere near Costco level. They just weren't. I mean, it was okay if you've never had the good shit. It tasted like any other ones, but for me, it was eh. This is our, what do we call it? Boneless spare rib tips over pork fried rice. This is one of the lunch specials we have. And was actually, so this doesn't get a flat lid. This gets a big bulbous bubble. You see how high this is? It was that high over here and here also. I ate probably 8 or 10 ounces of the meat already, and there's still this much left. And this bowl's deeper than you think. This is a big portion. This is something I definitely don't eat, which is not cake, pie, and this cheese pie, graham cracker crust. This was some event, somebody's retirement or a birthday, and it got put in front of my face. It was to die for. New York's it was good. This was a 10. I don't really eat this stuff, but it was I remember enjoying it. It was delicious. Breakfast smells good, chef. There's some sun-dried tomatoes, pasta with some kind of olive oil and maybe butter and more of these cheese things that we had. Not something typically I would eat, but there's some kind of protein with this. Here is this again. For the life of me, I don't remember what it was. And you know what it was? A deconstructed chicken enchilada. That's what this was. And it was good. High quality ingredients, tasty. All right, I think this was when I was in the hospital for 3 months. I think this was the first thing I ate when I came out of the ICU. There was actually 2 fruit cups, which I ate. 3 waters, here's 2 of them. I actually remember this. There was more eggs, so I ate some of this. They asked me, do you want anything with your eggs? And I'm like, what can I have? Whatever you want. We have everything. Now, I was like, do you have low salt bacon? We did. And they said, yeah. How many do you want? Joking. I said, how many could I have? And they're like, whatever. I guess there's no limit. Like, could I get 10 pieces of bacon? I don't think that's not true. There was one time when I experimented with keto when it used to be called Atkins many years ago. I used to eat pounds of bacon. But anyway, there was like 10, maybe 12 pieces, which I ate, and then I'm like, let me snap a picture. So I think that's the last one. Hopefully I have one more thing I gotta do before I retire for the military. And hopefully I won't get injured this time, knock on wood. With my luck, I will be, and I'll be sending you a picture and video. God, I shouldn't jinx myself, right? Oh, would that be shitty? I think there's 2 or 3 more. My food is almost ready. It's smelling good. This is one of our burgers on a bun. I normally don't eat this kind of thing. This is bigger than it looks. It's shot at a weird angle. And just for a goof, I had him throw 5 cheese blend. This melted. This burger just came off the griddle. So a few seconds after this, the cheese just turned into a mush. It was good. This is probably my favorite from our place. We call this chicken and mushrooms. It's velvetized chicken, white mushrooms, some bamboo shoots, mushrooms, a little bit of carrot, some a little ginger. There's some pork fried rice. This is half of it. This is fucking delicious. This is delicious. Period. This is some chicken chunks with pierogies, but this is not nuggets. This is coated not with flour or something like this. This is dried garbanzo beans, chickpeas, on these nuggets. I saw this on a show. They came out crunchy and crispy like a crunchy nugget that you might get somewhere. But there's basically no carb, high fiber, and the high nutrients you get from garbanzo beans. Blindfolded, you can't, it doesn't taste beany. It tastes like any other nugget chunk. Except it's much better for you. So this is how we have them now. This is some salmon and avocado. I don't remember this for some reason. Chef Jim made this. This is ham and scrambled eggs, and there's some perfectly cooked bacon, as you can see. Do you remember making that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was good, right?
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
That's the famous Chef Jim, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, very last one. This is a half a serving of our chicken wings and pork fried rice we like. Delicious. All right, enjoy. I'm going to just show one of these about the last, probably 10 days. I've had something like this. Chef got some kind of muffins, English muffins. When I was young, my mother would make these for me, usually 2. This is an English muffin, toasted and buttered. There's 2 eggs under here, soft but cooked yolk, and a meat. In this case, it's Spam and bacon. Usually it's one or the other. But this is basically a Spam, egg, and cheese sandwich. There's, I don't know, maybe even a dozen more of these pictures, but they're all very similar, so I'm just going to put one here. This is delicious. Fact. So, this is from a ranch we know These pork chops are free range, no steroids, no antibiotics, grass fed. They were quite a bit taller, and Chef Jim Hulk smashed them about 30 seconds each. And when I tell you these are tender, you could take the point of your finger, your trigger finger, pointy finger, and press, assuming this mouse is working here, one of these squares, and it would just mush. That's how tender these are, with the cleanest, most delicious porky flavor. It's so clean, it almost tasted like really good chicken, even though it's pork. The cheesy, crunchy coating was amazing. It's kind of hard to see in this picture. Yeah, you can't. This is fresh spinach. And in here is whole garlic cloves. There's a couple of herbs and stuff. There's probably in this little bowl left maybe 6 or 7 whole garlics. And this is Kerrygold butter, for those that know what that is. And this melted in probably, this just like came out of the oven, all this, in the stove. This was super hot. You have no way of telling, but this melted in a couple seconds. We've been on kind of a spinach kick lately. It's, for those that don't know, it's very good for you, and it has some interesting properties. So we've been eating more spinach. What time is it right now? 5 in the morning. Oh, you can't see it because my screen here is small, but yeah, it's reset night. The 7th, I guess the 6th was when it reset. I'm still up at 5 in the morning. It's been fun. It's competitive. We've been smashing through the night. It looked like you were eating... Oh, it looked like I was eating something else. Yeah, I'll show you in the next picture. These are the best blueberries on earth. I don't care how many blueberries you've had. Some are tasteless, some are kind of hard, some are actually a little sour. These blueberries are juicy. When you bite them, they squish and juice comes out. And they are sweet like candy. This is a different strain of blueberry than most of you are used to. Very highly nutritious, despite the sweetness. They're not that much sugar. And the glycemic load is low, for those that know what that is. But the taste of these is unbelievable. It used to be a fast car secret, but now it isn't anymore. And these are tremendous. I assure you, there's people going, dude, I've had blueberries. Listen, you've not had blueberries like this. I haven't, and it's not like I've seeked out blueberries every waking moment, but I've had pies and raw blueberries throughout my life, and none of them are this experience. That's the only thing I could say. These are... they're sweeter than grapes that I've had, sweeter than really good oranges. I don't know how they did it. These blueberries don't make sense, yet they have all the blueberry flavor. So that's the other thing I was eating. Yes, very quickly. You know, I didn't take a picture of it. We had what we call a quick salad. So in my giant bowl, Chef put probably 3 baseball-sized tomatoes cut in chunks, probably eighths. They're about good size, fully ripe, on the vine, organic. And then there was a can of garbanzo beans, chickpeas. There was fresh, and I mean fresh mozzarella cheese, cut in slabs about a quarter-inch thick. The pieces were about the size of no, bigger. It was bigger than that. Like if you cut a golf ball in half. Yeah, and then there was mixed greens, not a lot. Maybe 1 cup of baby spinach, kale, iceberg lettuce, and I think there was one other green in there. Was there? We had a couple of artichoke hearts left. Was there anything else? I think that was it. And a little ranch dressing. I've showed salads before, but this was a quick one. Breakfast today, I don't think I'm going to have a sandwich. Actually, we have one of these giant, this picture's not really great here. We have one of these chops left, and I don't know, I'll have Chef, it's going to sound crazy, maybe scramble it into eggs, or maybe yet again I'll have another salad. I might even have some, I'm not sure yet, but I'm probably going to eat those as opposed to a breakfast sandwich today. Dinner, I don't know if it's for sure. And sometimes things come up, especially on the weekend here at the labs. We get visitors, big wigs show up. I think High Voltage might show up today. Biggie Smalls, don't ask. I think he was going to make a rotisserie chicken and then matzo ball chicken rice soup, but we'll have to see what visitors come over. If visitors come over, we might just go to my restaurant and get, I don't know, cheesesteaks or a pizza or maybe Chinese burgers. I'm not really sure. So we'll have to find out later. What snack was I munching on? At Reset, I had real food. Oh, I had gotten a sample of, in the mail, Cheez-Its crackers, little orange. Yeah, they're like a 1-inch by 1-inch little cracker. This was the standard orange cheese flavor, not one of their jazzed up flavors. I can't say I find them great. Nutritionally, a potato-based snack is always going to be best, period. Second place would be corn, which is not great. And third place, nutrition-wise, is wheat. That said, yeah, I'm itchy right here. I don't think people dip those little Cheez-Its in anything. I just don't find them very flavory. Or those dumb goldfish people eat. Yeah, any of those things. They just are not very flavory to me. I don't know what Cheez-Its taste like, the regular orange ones. The best of all, not that I get them, is called 4 Cheese Italian. You know, they're salty, there's MSG in it. I don't know if it tastes like 4 cheese, but it has some flavor. But even those, no one ever ate Cheez-Its and went, Cheez-Its. You know, what I mean? Unless you have nothing else in your entire house, they're just not that great. If I had to eat a snacky, crunchy type junk, whatever you would call that, snacks, Cheez-Its wouldn't be in my top 20. All right, I want to end this vid. I'm not going to give the whole top 20. Maybe a couple. I don't have an order. If I sat and thought about it, I probably could. When I was younger, I ate so many orange flavored Doritos orange bag. Is it nacho? Not so much the blue ones. Sometimes I would dip them in something, or I would put them on a plate and grate some cheddar cheese on them and make sort of ghetto nachos. Sometimes I would have chili mix and dip, if you will, Doritos into chili mix and have kind of a ghetto taco. I ate many bags of those as a youth, but they were never really that good. Like, as of right now, I don't know. I don't even think I could give you 5. I really don't eat that stuff. There's a company called Schneider's that makes pretzels, and they have one that's maybe pretzel pieces or chunks that it's called. These are sourdough. They're kind of extra hard and crunchy, but they're not whole pretzels. They're little chunks. And there's one with cheddar cheese. I know they also have a ranch and a honey mustard. My mother actually years ago used to like the honey mustard. Those are not too bad. When it comes to, I don't know, it would probably be a potato chip. Ooh, I just changed my mind as I said that. I like especially crunchy chips, so it would be what we call here kettle style. I haven't had it in a while. Maybe a barbecue flavor, like a sweet onion barbecue. Like if I had to eat it, not as a nacho, just like chips out of a bag. Yeah, I kind of like Cheetos, or I used to. I really haven't had them in a while. I used to prefer the poofy ones over crunchy. I might like crunchy better now. There was a brand of those called Kitchen Cooked, which was bought out by a giant company. They were a small batch and they were bought out by another company and then basically canceled. Those were the best cheese puffs ever. Period. I can't explain to you, but they had the best flavor by. If I rated Cheetos from 1 to 10 and Kitchen Cooked, the Kitchen Cooked were a 10 and Cheetos were 3. These weren't just salty, they were just good. But as far as now, I actually like, and again, not that I eat them, there's two things, one called Pop Chips and one called Popcorners. The Popcorners, I like the texture. I like the flavor. I just wish it had more cheese. There's some snacks just don't have enough flavor. Yeah, I'm itching it again. Pop chips are really good. They're expensive for a very small amount. Probably without really thinking in great depth, not counting popcorn, if I had, somebody put a gun to my head and said, you gotta eat snacks, it would probably be pop chips. I remember liking the cheesy ones a bunch, and the barbecue was good. Wait, why am I hating on what? I don't know what this word is. Oh, Harvest Crisps. They're okay. They don't have. I like the text. I like the taste. I like the texture. They don't have enough flavor. I like the cheese ones. If there was more powder on them, I would like them. I'm not into the garden ones or the hot ones. This is way too long for such a silly question. In every case, now this was different when I was a kid. I ate bags and bags and bags. When I was in my growth spurt and getting, working out and just growing and getting bigger, I ate everything I could get my hands on. But I ate bags and bags and bags of various chips. I would rather real food as a snack in every case. Not always super intricate. There's times when I just want a little snacky something, but I don't want, a 32-ounce prime rib. You know what I mean? But generally, I always prefer real food to that kind of stuff, like you're talking about chips and pretzels. I don't know what that is. I would eat before any chip, if they're fresh, nuts. These nuts, especially pistachios or those little white Hawaiian ones. What are they? Yeah, macadamian. Even mixed, like the Costco nuts, which are very fresh and high quality, I would always eat, just because nutritionally nuts are actually good for you. You know, there's serious nutrition, especially in certain nuts. But they're actually good for you instead of just bad and just being salt and chemicals. Yeah, I eat various Costco nuts. I don't so much eat the seeds you're talking about. I actually, I want to end this. As far as I know, in my entire life, I only had one allergic reaction, and I don't know if there was something wrong with the batch I got, or do I have an allergy to it that I've never heard of, or it's just because I ate so many. So, Costco, they don't have it anymore. This was several years ago. They had a bag that was probably 1 pound mixed of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and one other. I forget if it was flax or chia. It was three kinds of seeds. The third one is escaping me. Yeah, so my, let's call her girlfriend at the time, she wanted them. We were shopping, so I got them, and they were tasty. I poured a small amount into my palm and popped it into my mouth, maybe the size of a half of a golf ball, and went, oh, this isn't bad. I mean, how often do you eat seeds? It wasn't like a steak or chicken nuggets, but it wasn't bad. Not as good as nuts. And somehow we got home. There was some movie. This was quite a few years ago at this point, 10. There was a show or a movie on as soon as we came in the door. This part I remember. Yeah, so she got a plate and dumped a bunch of this seed mix onto the plate and got us a big drink, or maybe I had my own, I don't remember. And we're watching this show or movie, and just because I'm a man and I'm a glutton, I'm just taking handfuls. Actually, I had a spoon. And I'm just eating this seed mix. And I probably ate 10 ounces out of the 16. This is a lot. And again, I don't know if I'm allergic or maybe it happens to everyone or I overdid it. So I started feeling weird, and I pretty much have an iron stomach. I really want to end this. I started feeling weird about 20 minutes. About 35 minutes, I'm hot, more than normal. I always run warm, and kind of sweaty. And I'm like, what's going on? I shouldn't, like, something was wrong, and I knew it. All of a sudden, head to toe, I break out into a rash. It felt like a combination of pins and needles and 10 million ants, for those that know what fire ants are, crawling on my skin and biting and stinging me with pins and needles. And when fire was coming out of the ants, they kind of burn, it stings anyway, millions of them. The first 5 minutes when it hit, I just took it like a man. I was a little bit in shock, like, what is happening? And I remember the girl I was with was like, David, you're beet red, head to toe. And now I'm feeling really shitty. It's about 45 minutes. I go in, there's a room that has full-length mirrors for posing. So I'm wearing shorts and a tank top. I rip my shirt off head to toe. Not just am I all red, but it's kind of like little swollen areas. Like like if somebody would have slapped me and it turned red and then it kind of locally swelled for a couple minutes, just all over. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. This is bad. Then I started feeling sick. But I wasn't throwing up. But I felt like I might. About an hour in, I'm sweating bullets, and I have lost my mind. The stinging sensation, it's now like there is 1 billion. It's like I have fallen into an ant colony the size of a volcano, and there's billions of them on me. Like I'm swimming in fire ants. It was so overwhelming. I couldn't focus. I couldn't think. It didn't hit me till later. Is this anaphylactic shock, for those of you that know what that is? Or is this just an allergic reaction? And I'm thinking, I've heard of motherfuckers that die from eating peanuts. Shit like that. And I'm like, am I gonna die? Have I been through all this shit in combat and shot and blown up, run over by 2 18-wheelers, bit by a shark, struck by lightning twice? What put me in the hospital for 3 months a few months ago that I can't talk about for 10 more years. Well, it's about 9 years now. And worse, am I going to go down from some fucking seeds? I then started hallucinating. I still remember it. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but I was out of my mind. I know they tried giving me water. I couldn't even drink. And then they finally got this stuff, this dumb medicine that I've had in my kit, and I've never used it in my life to this point. I have a kit in my go bags, and there's aspirin, Tylenol, this stuff called Imodium for diarrhea, and I don't know, a couple other common things that are just in case. And one of them is called Benadryl. I don't know what it's really used for. Colds? Honestly, I really don't know, but I know one of the things is certain allergies or even itchiness. So, yeah, this one, I had it both in pills, and I got free samples of liquid in this little tubes of sort, plastic tubes. And they kind of forced me to sit up. Somebody else was there at the moment. Literally, I was out of my mind. There was no thinking. There was, holy shit, I've been tortured for real. It wasn't this bad. I still don't know what this was. Just a crazy allergic. Maybe if I had eaten a spoonful, it would have, given me a tiny itchy somewhere. It's the fact that I ate 10 or 12 ounces in the course of 5 minutes. But anyway, because I'm large and I'm fucking going down, they hand me these things. I think you're supposed to have one, but I took both. They were just like little mini shots of Benadryl liquid. I don't even remember tasting it. And I took it, and it was rather fast in waves. This is the dumbest long video for food. Within probably 10 minutes, all of a sudden, a wave of relief came. I still remember it. It was like half the ants got knocked off of me. It was like a weight lifted off of me. My brain started working. I wasn't hallucinating. It was still horrendous. Just every neuron firing, every cell. It was crazy, just overwhelming. A second wave of relief hit about 15 minutes when about half of the perceived ants on me just got windshield wipered away, and then there was just a very thin coating, or they were sporadic. About 20 minutes, the third wave hit, and it knocked what felt like all the ants off of me, but they did all the biting and stinging already, so I'm still, my nerves are still firing. I am frazzled. It actually exhausted me. I don't remember breathing heavy like I was running or anything, but, or maybe this is just how it works. I was exhausted like I just, none of you know what a force march is, ran up a mountain with a 100-pound rucksack here that I worked out for 6 hours doing legs or did a marathon quickly. I was exhausted, and by 30 minutes, I had 99% relief and then uncontrollably fell asleep. I don't want to say it just, knocked me out. I willingly went, but it was very easy, considering how stimulated I was. Oh, wow, it's making me yawn thinking about it. All of a sudden, I was just like, oh yeah, I want to go to sleep and forget about this. And I just conked out right there. It was probably like an hour and a half. When I woke up, it was gone. There was still a little slight blotches of redness, a couple, I don't know, in weird places. And that went away over the next hour. I've never had any of those seeds again. I don't know what the fuck caused that. Again, it could have been a bad batch. Maybe there was some preservative or chemical sprayed on them. Maybe you're just not supposed to eat a pound or almost a pound of that shit because it's bad. But that was horrible. Evidently, I was talking about things when I was hallucinating, because there was two people there and they had the same. I don't think they would have made up what they said, but I don't remember saying any of it. At one point they said, you stood up, you were swinging your arms around like there was thousands of bees stinging you, and you were trying to punch at them or knock them out of the air. I don't remember that, and some other shit. Yeah. And I've had in the past sunflower seeds, maybe, maybe I had a cake or a cookie or something that had 2 or 3 pumpkin seeds in it, or a tiny amount of flax. I think I had a protein drink or something that had a very small amount. But like I said, I had, like a coffee can of that shit quickly. She was fine, but she ate, I don't know, a quarter cup, something like this. There was one more effect, but it was gross the next day. I'm not going to talk about it. But it was legendary, guys. I'll tell you that. All right. I don't know how long this bullshit story is, but it was ridiculous. I don't even remember how this story came to be or why I just told it to you. Oh my god, this is so silly. I really want to end this, guys. It's 5:30. Oh shit, my Guild Wars shut off. You can't run in a corner AFK anymore. It boots you out. Yes, I do eat yogurt. There's a brand I get from Costco because it tastes good. It's no sugar. It's a Greek style. Oinkos or oigo. It starts with a O. Oinko. Oink. It's no sugar, and it tastes relatively good. It's about double the protein. I eat it mostly for the probiotics. The protein is great. It's low calorie, no sugar. But yes, that's your answer. And also, as your part 2, yes, I have had kefir. Not lately. Most people don't know what kefir is. But this is whether you make it yourself or buy it, this is a very powerful drink. But quite honestly, you're better off probiotic wise, and cheaper, just getting some fresh probiotic pills off Amazon, especially the one that's number one recommend. Everyone should be on those. Even if people think it's just somebody typed it, if you have poop problems, no. I'm not going to go into this now, but your gut microbiome, that bacteria, probiotics, has everything to do with getting sick, being strong, how you think, sleep. You're probably wondering, like, what does the gut have to do with this? Everything. It strengthens your immune system. You just function better. Even if you're in good health and everything is great, you should get a bottle. I like the one I've had many kinds, many prices, some expensive, really expensive. And the ones from Amazon, the number one brand, it's like It's the number one recommended. I can't think of the name of it. Usually I have a bottle, but I finished it recently. But you should get a small bottle, like a 30-day supply, even if you're totally fine. And they're good for you. All right, people, this is probably a half hour long. All right, I've given you content. Enjoy.